Divine Diva. This is a fun podcast. Of course, there's going to be some adult language. So if you got the bambinos in here listening, you are warned. With all that is going on in the world, what is required of you? And so I did a post on Instagram, and if you're not following me on Instagram, you need to. Where are you? What is wrong with you? Get on my Instagram. It is I dot am dot the aligned soul, and there's the link in the show notes, so you can just click it. There's no excuses. Follow me. Let's talk. So I did a post, and you know those posts where there's the memes and it's like them and then you and then you talk about where you are. I'm going to do that in this podcast. It's going to be fun. And it really is just one, I love to lighten things. This is why my shifting works and why it helps you shift so quickly because we're not taking everything super seriously. So let's talk. Them. A girl can't win at this game. 6-year-old me. Fuck that shit. Also me wins the same game over and over and over. Them. Go to school to find a husband. 18-year-old me. Fuck that shit. Also me graduates, becomes the first black woman hired at my corporation, makes a shit ton of money, starts a company, makes more shit ton of money. Them. You need to stay quiet about what's happening in the world. Me. Fuck that shit. And now what? They're trying to pass laws saying that women need to ask for permission from her husband, her father, her brother, or her reverend for birth control or for things that she does with her body. Stop right there. You feel that? There's a rage, right? Of, are you kidding me? Right? And the big thing about this is that you know that that is not the reality you get to choose. And if you don't know that, listen to the podcast before this where I talk about jumping realities and jumping timelines. And there's an anchor there, right? And these laws are really not about laws, they're about control. But let me tell you, if you're listening to this and this is the timeline that you're on, let me just break it down for you so that you'll be able to jump easily. Because once I break it down for you, and once you realize your power, and then you're like, oh, I'm not scared anymore, it takes away your resistance to this and you can shift very quickly. So let me break it down for you. They're creating these because they're afraid, they're scared. They hear the death rattle of the patriarchy. They know their time's up. They feel it. They feel the energy shifting. They feel the divine feminine rising. And guess what? Divine feminine is not bowing down. She's not wearing a flowy dress and she's like, oh, I'm just going to sit over here in my corner and just receive. That's not the divine feminine. She's not waiting for approval. She's not asking for permission from any fucking body. Okay? What's happening now with the divine feminine rising, guess what? Women and marginalized communities, right? The global majority will be leading this charge. Why? Because it always was supposed to be us. Because if you look at astrology and you look at the timing, I love to talk about Pluto and Aquarius, it's dismantling of old systems and the collective power shift back into the hands of people. Right? We never were powerless. No one ever took our power away. We just forgot. They convinced us to forget our power. And now we are remembering. We are seeing through the illusion. And now we know we create our reality. If you want to know how to create it really easily, listen to podcasts before this. So, what happens when we stop playing their game? Well, what happens is we say, nope, we're not doing this anymore. We say, oh, that is what it is. Now, what do I want? We don't participate in the illusion anymore. We don't fight them. We don't resist them. We ignore them and we create something better. We take their power away from us because control only works when you believe in it. Oh, yeah. 444. As soon as I looked at that timing, of course, those are my numbers for this year. So let me tell you what you are doing when you are in your divine feminine energy. And remember, divine feminine does not mean male or female. It's not gender. It's an energy. The divine feminine energy. You are picking up your arrows and blasting through old paradigms. You are taking care of the community, building new structures, creating new realities. You are reading minds because you're telepathic AF. You are predicting events because your intuition is top shape. You are making a shit ton of money because you know that money in your hands benefits the whole earth and not a few self-obsessed billionaire bros. You don't play small. You don't wait for permission. You don't apologize. You know you're divine. You know you are God frequency, and you know you're here to lead. This is the new earth leadership here. New earth leaders have entered the chat, and that is you, women. Men and women from the global majority. Because those are the voices that were silenced, that were doubted, that were underestimated. And this isn't about equality. This is about power returning to its rightful place. Remembering the power that you always had, despite what system said or systematic this and blah, 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 that. So guess what? We are not going back. We're not shrinking. We're not asking for a seat at the table. We're building our own table. And the people who ran this old system, right? The shadow governments, all the wealthy that wanted to like hoard the wealth and didn't realize the more they gave to and the more that they shared, the more everyone would have. Those people are scared, not because they're weak, not because they're lost, but because they know we are done playing by the rules. This is the whole thing with the whole Luigi, not that we're advocating violence at all, no, but the whole thing with him, and we don't even know if he's the one who shot it because they look like two different people, but shooting the CEO and using him as a scapegoat and all this kind of stuff. They thought that was going to make us scared because they're being mean to us. Let's show them that this is wrong and let's show them what happens. And they didn't realize that this was going to bring people together. You have people in jail where they are usually factioned against each other by race and by type or gangs or whatever. In jail, everybody's like gathering around this Italian guy. Everybody's gathered around him, giving him cuts and fades, and they taking care of him. And they're like, "Oh, this is not what we thought." When you fall for separation by race, by gender, by whatever, when you fall for that keeps you easily manipulated. But when we work together, hello, together to put our focus on what the society we want, what we want to create, the way we want it to be, they know that there is no winning. And so you feel it. You feel the pressure. You feel the urgency. You feel it. You feel the tension. You feel the knowing. You feel that you know that you weren't born in this era by accident. You are the divine diva and you chose this. You incarnated for this. You see through the noise. You see the crumbling. You activate your power. You know that this is the moment. This is the timeline. This is what you came to do. And you need to remember that the divine masculine is a part of you and a part of this too. And so the true divine masculine supports, it is not seeking to control, because those who are trying to drag the world back into 1763, they know that they cannot win against a woman, a divine diva, a person who has remembered their power. We are not bowing. We are not stopping. We are not going anywhere except for the timeline that we desire. You are a new earth leader. And you know that you've already made this shift. This is why you came. This is go time. Remember that. Step into your power. And remember, no one has taken your power away. It's just a matter of you remembering it. Stay bougie, be healed, and keep it divine, diva.